How to be successful in life. Success have eluded us for years, but now we've captured it, and I'm happy to share with you. It's what we've known, what have been close to us, but yet far from us, and it's nothing else than habit. Wow, habit! How can habit be the secret of success? Is it possible for habit to be the secret of success? Yes, it is. What is habit? According to Wikipedia.org, habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. In other words, habit is something that you often do regularly, repetitively, and sometimes without knowing that you are doing it. We put on clothes, we eat food, we drink ice cream, and do several other daily things like brush our teeth in the morning, almost unconsciously, because it has become habitual for us. We've done it over and over again, that we do it even without thinking about that we're doing it. As simple as it is, that's the power of habit, and that's the secret to success in all life endeavors. Don't be down because of challenges. In life, everybody faces challenges. In the long run, everyone faces trials, but it is not challenges that pull us down. It is our habits that either take us up or pull us down. In fact, I have a good news for you. Our life does not depend on failures, but it depends on our habits. Success is predictable. Yes, life success is predictable. You are responsible for everything you do. Yes. That's a good news, because if you can control your action, you can control your result. What do you want? You want to be ready? You want to live good? You want to be challenged your purpose? All is possible. It never happens. Anything is possible. Do not be deceived. Overnight success is a sham. It does not exist. It is not honest. James Clear said that he has experienced tremendous success in life, not because he has done tremendous work, but because he has done little things in tremendous time. Of course, there's a factor of luck in success, certainly, but habit is a more important factor than mere luck. Habit is the factor that's within your control in the equation of success. So let's maximize what we have and obtain the result that we're looking for. In fact, Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, said, I find out that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. He's saying that it is not luck to be the president, that it's a result of hard work. Even one of the greatest governors ever known, Gary Player, said, the harder you work, the luckier you get. This substantiates the fact that people that we think are lucky because they're successful may not actually be lucky. There's just a system that they follow that we may not be exposed yet. James Clear said there wasn't one defining moment in my journey. It was a gradual evolution, a long series of small wins that you got through. We know that external factors like the right reward of achievement influences our outcome. Also, internal factors like moods, emotions, and beliefs also influences our results. What is happening? Why is it so important? Habits are the small decisions we make. Actions we better every day. According to researchers at Duke University, habits account for about 40% of our behavior on a given day. So this means daily, almost committed. We do it without thinking about it. We feel as if we're in control, but are we actually in control? Your life today is essential. Playing the song of your habits. Whether you are in shape or you're out of shape, whether you're happy or not happy, it's a result of your habit. How stressful or unstressful you are is also habit. What you do repeatedly, what you spend time thinking about and doing each day, ultimately forms the person you are, the things you believe, and the personality that you portray. So why don't we set the right habits and control our future. First of all, how do habits account for success? I know that we overestimate things in life. We think there's a point, a defining moment in life, that the rich became rich, that the poor became poor, that the greatest footballers and athletes reach their goal and potential. It may be, but from my experience, I've not seen a sudden success. None have accepted that their success is sudden. Do you know that 1% improvement every day will improve your life 38% at the end of a year? In fact, what's even more frightening is that 1% worse each day in a year would result to a decline nearly down to zero. This assures us that if we can get 1% better, we can keep improving ourselves just 1% each day, just 1% each day, our life will get better by 38% in a year, which means in 5 years we've exceeded boundaries. We'll become the talk of the town. We'll become what others will call sudden success. But we know that the success was not sudden. We've been building it up daily. Habits are the small decision that you make and actions you from every day. Your life today essentially is the sum of your habits. So you can see that small win or minor setback may look insignificant today, but it grows bigger and larger in the long run. This is the graph that shows how 1% improvement, why it will look as if nothing is happening, it quickly skyrockets, and whereas 1% decline may also look as if nothing is changing. My weight has not changed despite what I'm eating. My laziness has no influence on the outcome, despite being lazy for a week. But over time, in the long run, you see the effect of habit. Do you know what James Clear said? Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. If you choose to improve yourself, habits will reward you for it. And if you choose to damage your today, habits will be there to also reward you, although in this case, negative. Success is the product of daily habits. So your current habits will determine your future outcome. Don't be so preoccupied with the future, how I'll be rich or how I'll be poor, but be occupied with today, because your today determines where your tomorrow will be. What you give in today determines the trajectory that your tomorrow brings out for you. Do you know that time magnifies the margin between success and failure? You get what you repeat, either positively or negatively. If you want to be rich, if you can increase your savings on a daily basis, over a year you discover that you save a lot to invest and become wealthy. Habit is a double-edged sword. Bad habit ruins people. If you keep thinking that people are angry or unkind, it will make you to be seeing those people everywhere. What if you think that people are always happy? People are kind, people are good. Fortunately, you see it too. So the outside world does not determine you. Decide what you want and that's what you get. Someone would like to say, but I've been working hard. I go to the gym every day. And yet, I've not seen reduction in my weight. I've been trying to put my best in my study. And I've not become the best in my class. I've been buying beauty products. And yet, I'm not still looking as beautiful as I want. Good news for you. Habits often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold, and then you unlock a new level of performance. Do you know that cancer spends nearly 80% undetected in the body within few weeks? That's taking over the whole body. The hallmark of any compounding process is that the most powerful outcomes are delayed. This is the principle of mathematics and compound interest. At the beginning, it seems the increment negligible, insignificant. But over time, over and over again, you will discover that what started very small has become huge and bigger than even a mountain. This is one of the core reasons why it's so hard for people to build habits that last. Because people make a few small changes. They try to go to the gym. They try to do sporting activities in order to get a better shape and physique. They try to eat well for a few weeks, and once they are not seeing a tangible result, it did not work. There's the plateau of latent potential. The plateau of latent potential is simply building up habits. Keep doing what you are doing. You may not get the result now until you pass a critical threshold. Once that threshold is reached, you achieve an excellent result that it will look as if all of a sudden you've lost 5 pounds of weight. Have you been to where there's rocks? The laborer keep hitting the rock over and over again. It looks as if nothing is happening. But just one more time, it hit the rock, and a huge rock is broken. Are you telling me only one stroke was able to destroy the rock? No. It has been building up over and over again. Your effort is being stored. Your work was not wasted. Complaining about not achieving success despite working hard is like complaining that an ice cube is not melting when you heat it from 25 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius. But from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius, the ice that have been forming start melting. So that 31 degrees Celsius is the point where it experiences the plateau of latent potential. When you finally break through this plateau of latent potential, people will call it an overnight success. I know we expect a linear curve. We want it to be linear. I work small, I get small results. I work more, I get more results. But that's not the way habits work. Habits expect you to keep putting in more. Keep storing it until you break through the plateau of latent potential, and then you become what the world calls an overnight success. It is good to set goals, but what's much more important is have a system. I think this is the paradigm shift, that we focus so much on goals without focusing on the system that will enable us get to those goals. Goals are not bad. In fact, they are important, and I think we should set goals because they give us direction on what we should achieve. But once you set that specific actionable goal, go back to the drawing board and focus on the system that you will use to achieve it. Remember that both winners and losers set the same goal. A system of continuous small improvement ensures that one is a winner and the other is a loser. Remember that goals are also complementary. In fact, we think that we need to change our results, but the results are not the problem. What really is the problem is the system. Our system is faulty. Yes, we have a faulty system. I don't mean the government system. I mean our personal working system. Be flexible with the system. If a system did not work, don't change the goal, change the system. It does not make sense to restrict your satisfaction to one scenario when there are many paths to success. Set lasting systems. Set systems that will enable you not to revert to old habits after accomplishing a goal. Do you know what is success actually? A cycle of endless refinement and continuous improvement. Ultimately, it is your commitment to the process that will determine your progress, not you achieving just a goal. When you get to the best, seek for the best. It's continuous, it's tireless. You keep innovating, you keep creating. So you see why the idea of a sudden success is a sham. The goal of this teaching is for you to have an atomic system. What is an atomic system? It's a system of habits that involves a tiny change, just a marginal gain, a 1% improvement in what you do. You keep repeating it. 1% improvement, you keep improving by 1% over and over again, day in, day out. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So let's have a system of continuous daily improvement. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. Atomic habits, a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but also the source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth we want to achieve
huge success. This is the secret of compounding. Compounding is not about starting big, it's about starting small, tiny changes that produce remarkable results. You want to ask, why do bad habits stick? Two reasons. Because we try to change the wrong things and we try to change our habits in the wrong way. We are so concerned with the outcome, trying to change the outcome through a wrong process. The problem is not the outcome. The problem is the process that we follow. The way we work, we have an identity, which is our set of beliefs. We have processes, which includes our habits and the systems I've been talking about of achieving our outcomes. Outcomes, of course, are the desired outcomes. Many people begin the process of changing their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. Focusing on who we wish to become is more powerful, achieve better results than focusing on what you want to achieve. Instead of saying, I want to achieve success in school, I would say, I want to achieve success. I am a success in school. We change how we define success. Instead of aiming to just run for a marathon, we aim to be runners for life. We change our identity. It's easier for someone to say that I do not smoke, to avoid smoking, than someone to say that I want to stop smoking. It's easier. Behind every system of actions are a set of beliefs. What do you believe that makes you take action? Behavior that is not in line with yourself does not lack. If you steal and you're the kind of person that steals, very soon you stop stealing because that's not who you are. It does not align with you. So which means if you want to keep repeating something, align it with your identity. If you want to keep working hard, align it with your identity. I am someone that achieves remarkable results in whatever I choose to work on. It's not a function of what I choose to work on. It's a function of who I am. I'm not boasting, but that's the truth because that's my identity. I produce excellent results. Take me to sport, I will produce excellent results. Take me to journalism, I will produce excellent results. Take me to wrestling, I will produce excellent results. If I choose to be an author, I will write excellent books. It's not a function of what I do, it's a function of my own identity. I am an excellent person. What's your identity? Who really are you? We will just want to change the outcome without changing who we are. But success in life is not changing your outcome, it's changing who you are. Because if you change who you are, changing your outcome is definite. The more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. The more deeply a thought or action is tied to your identity, the more difficult it is to change it. Progress requires learning and unlearning. Success in life, becoming the best version of yourself, requires you to continuously edit your belief and upgrade and expand your identity. You must be ready to change. The more evidence you have for a belief, the more and more likely to act on it. Who are you? The most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. Once you have a handle on the type of person you want to be, you can begin taking small steps to reinforce your desired identity. I'm not telling you tricks and tips only. This is what I've lived out my life. You are more likely to perform better if you define your identity better. You are more likely to get a promotion at work if you tell yourself, I am someone that performs excellent job. And excellent jobs definitely comes with promotion. It may delay, but definitely it will surely come. Who do you define yourself to be? Habits can help you to achieve massive success, but fundamentally they are not about having something. They are more about becoming someone. Since you are not ready to transform your habit, you are not excited to change the behavior that you repeat enough times to become automatic. First of all, why does the brain work such way? The primary reason the brain remembers the past is to better predict what will work in the future. If the brain is to accommodate everything that happens in a day, it will be overworked. When a habit emerges, the brain stops fully participating in decision making. It stops working so hard or divert focus to other tasks. So unless you deliberately fight a habit, unless you find a new routine, the pattern will unfold automatically. Habits are not destiny. It can be ignored, it can be changed, it can be replaced. Contrary to the popular and conventional wisdom, habits do not restrict freedom, they create it. Because they create space for the brain to think more and perform creatively. The first steps: change your habit. Cue, craving, response, rewards. Cue is just about making it obvious. Be aware of the habit you want to change. Don't behave as if it's not there. If you behave as if it's not there, we overtake you because you perform it automatically. So in order to change a habit, be aware of the habit. Now, what you are doing is not even deleting the habit. Habit cannot be deleted, but it can be replaced. So what you do is you replace it with a new habit. What habit do you want to form? Make that habit you want to form attractive. If you want to be a footballer, go to places that people play football and enjoy football. If you want to be successful, listen to people that are successful too. Use the law of pairing. After I finish doing what I like doing, the next thing I will do is this new habit. You can also do a reverse mechanism where before I will do what I want to do, I will do what I need to do. Pair your habit with something that's attractive. It will create the craving in you to actually go along with the new habit. Response is all about making it easy. I know you want to run a marathon. I know you want to be richer than Jeff Bezos. I'm aware that you want to live well, healthy, and have a great physique, great stamina. I know you want to be an excellent public speaker. The rule that works best is a step at a time works better than taking everything at once. Because you are willing to do something, there's the temptation to pursue everything at once. But habit is better formed when you take a step at a time, starting with the easy one. In fact, your first step of habit should be do it in less than 2 minutes. If you want to for 1,000 meters, just try and walk for barely 2 minutes. Start with it. Start with what is easy. If you want to be a wrestler, you can just go and visit a wrestling stadium just for 2 minutes and see how it's like. What is your goal? I know it's big and huge, but start easy. That's the best way to form habit. And finally, rewards. Make it satisfying. Whenever you are able to achieve a milestone in your new habit, reward yourself. I know we like people rewarding us. We wait for people to tell us you've done well, you've achieved a massive success. But remember, you are still in the process, so you may not get a huge compliment now from outsiders. But you can compliment yourself, and you should compliment yourself. Reward yourself. It's by rewarding yourself that you get more energy for repetition. In summary, the cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward. The response is about obtaining the reward. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. Why do we chase rewards? Because they satisfy us. Because they teach us. If a behavior is sufficient in all these 4 stages to become a habit, but if one is lacking, or if one or more are lacking, it will not become a habit. So now you'll find the secret of success. It's the secret of habit. Not big habits, but atomic habits. 1% improvement, a step at a time. Keep getting better daily, and you become even more than what you even thought you would become. Congratulations in your journey of success. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching this video. My name is Dan and I make videos on personal development, success, motivation and finance. This particular video was inspired by the works of James Clear, Atomic Habits, and Charles Darwin, The Power of Habit, as you can see on the screen. The links to these books are found in the description box below. I'll be excited if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will be in the comment section to reply to all your comments. Thank you so much.